No apologies for the Senate. That's what Senator Natasha is saying. We look forward and count down to what happens in the coming day, especially when plenary resumes. Tonight, however, we turn our attention to a conversation that has spanned decades, filled countless debates in Nigeria's political history, and is once again at the forefront of national discourse: the quest of the creation of Anioma State. For over 50 years, Anioma leaders and stakeholders have called for statehood. Critics have often dismissed it as a recurring dream, but today the movement has gathered an unprecedented momentum, with reportedly over 91 senators endorsing the proposal during ongoing constitutional review hearings. Proponents argue that Anioma is not only viable, but represents both a historical correction and a political necessity to balance Nigeria's geopolitical equation, to give the Southeast its long-sought sixth state, and to unlock the economic potential of Delta North. But beyond the headlines, several questions linger. Who's going to fund this new state? How will it be funded? How strong is the support even among Anioma's traditional rulers and grassroots? What exactly is the historical and cultural identity of the Anioma people? And why is this particular push resonating differently from what we've seen in the past 50 years? Joining me tonight is someone who embodies both the cultural heritage and modern aspirations of the Anioma people. He's a journalist turned monarch, custodian of one of Anioma's ancient kingdoms, and a voice at the Senate public hearings. His Royal Majesty Charles Chukwuemeka Anyasi III, the Obi of Idumuje-Unor. Your Majesty, welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming. So you were at the public hearing, both in Enugu, and which other state was that?
No, yes, we were, but I was particularly at Enugu.
At Enugu.
Yes, I led the team to Enugu, yeah.
How much of support is this call for a new state garnered, especially at the grassroots?
I would say it's gathering great momentum right now. Like you said at the beginning, this began in 1954 at London with the Little Constitution. And over the past years, we've had about 9 takes that failed. Last year was the last when the distinguished Senator Ned Nwoko put a proposition before the House. And initially, there was a very great question about the viability of what he's saying. But at the moment, the momentum is gathering high. People who didn't believe at the beginning are beginning to key in because they're beginning to see the need. The question has been, where will it be placed? If you're going to create Anioma State, where will it be placed? A lot of people at the beginning were saying, well, if it's not in the South, no. But I come to realize that with all the potentials we have, let me just tell you about the potentials of the original concept. The original concept was that of Sir Dennis Osadebe, who proposed what we call Anioma, and the acronyms were A-N-I-O. It has to go full. You have A for Aniocha, Ndoka, that represents N, Eka, and then Oshimili. Now you'll be asking, where's the place of O and M? The O and M were put by Osadebe for, one, poetic excellence, and then didactic import. The full meaning of Anioma is good land. So that is Anioma. Otherwise, you have just 3 or 4 letters. Yeah. So now, he looked at the potential of the place that were sufficiently empowered by nature. If you look at the demographics, the land mass is about 6,000 plus square kilometers. People by now over 2 million people. And these 2 million people are resource-oriented people. The land mass is occupied by industries, both the formal and informal sectors. We have a solid workforce. We have our tourism potentials. Look at our flora and fauna. You look at the cultural base in terms of artifacts and artifacts. You look at dance patterns and everything that will help you to mobilize for cultural essence, for tourism. We have all this. So if you're looking at the original concept, were they actually qualified? Yes, we were, and we are now. But the question now has arisen. We have a new political optic. The current political dimension speaks to the fact that if we begin to hold on to the original position, we must be positioned within the original construct of Anioma, it probably might not work well. If you look at the mindset of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there was this reported meeting between him and Senator Ned Nwoko. And it was reported to have said that he desires to place this in the east to kind of square up and make Southeast 7 states.
So Anioma is not historically Igbo. Is that what you're saying?
That's a question. If this, now, the people of Anioma are described statutorily as Igbos. That's what I can tell you. Statutorily, we're Igbos. Although so many people lay claims to different ancestries, but statutorily, anybody within that construct cannot say he's not Igbo.
Do they speak Igbo?
We all speak Igbo with different dialectal differences.
So it makes sense for it to be categorized as a member state, if it eventually becomes one, in the southeast region of Nigeria.
It does make sense if we all see the reason for...
But there's a sharp political division, because we hear that even amongst stakeholders, there are some who believe that it should be in the South-South. Why is that so? If
you ask me, if I had the right of first refusal as a person, I would say let it be in South-South. But like I said, there are new optics.
But why South-South? That's the point I'm making. If you speak Igbo, if you're historically from Igbo, why not Southeast?
No, the original concept was for it to be in South-South. Okay. But I'm saying with the new dimension and with the dance play, political dance play from the top, if you begin to hold on to position rather than win-win, we'll lose. If it is finally agreed at the final stage, after this, we're going to go to another stage, maybe a plebiscite, for people to now begin to talk about what they want in terms of positioning. Something might hold. But if it is finally decided that we should go to Southeast, I won't cry blue mother.
This desire has been on for as long as 5 decades. And some are saying, what is different this time from the agitation, for want of better words, that we've seen in the past years? Some critics even say that the current process has been top-down. In some respects, that certain names, boundaries, identity, even labels like Anioma itself were decided by a handful of people without necessarily carrying along the full spectrum of the affected communities. How widespread would you say the grassroots consultation has been? Are you getting input from dissenting voices, and how is that being handled?
There are inputs. If you look at the concept of Anioma, those who are saying that it was not widespread might have a stake, because Anioma cuts across the river Niger. You have the Wolo movements, you have the Queries, and all those people who are far-flung in there. Probably the original concept builders didn't see this. Maybe emotions came into play, and there are things that guide the emotions of the people. There's this sense of deja vu in the minds of the people. When you look at the things that happened during the war, the experiences of the people in the north, in the western region, even in Edo and across, they are not quite settled. But like I said, we mustn't continue to live in the past. If the current optics go for a settlement in the east, southeast, and we see that we cannot change it, why don't you accept it? That's the point.
But we hear that there are divisions even among traditional rulers in Delta North. Some traditional rulers, correct me if I'm wrong, in Ika, including Dane of Igbos, have publicly warned against Anioma being grouped into the southeast, preferring the south-south, right? How do you manage what appears an identity alignment even before this comes to fruition, if it does?
when you bring food to the table, even in the local family setting, there are usually disagreements. It's not everybody who will agree to the eating on the table. So if you're expecting that everybody will say yes, yes, that's not possible. That's not to say that whoever is clamoring against is wrong. There's a right of personal opinion. There's a right of public opinion. This is personal to whoever is saying no, and you cannot fault them. But I'm saying that when we look at the current dynamics, we must look at if you're on the negotiation table and you are fixated in your negotiation, you have to look for win-win. That's what those who are supporting it are looking at.
But there is the symbolism of a new state, but the reality or the practical impact is a completely different ballgame. Even if you achieve statehood, what will be the immediate change in everyday lives of the ordinary citizen in terms of infrastructure like roads, schools, health? What vision is fueling this desire for a new state?
Definitely the dividends of democracy will come closer, naturally.
How? Because Nigerians are complaining, Your Majesty.
Yeah.
The Nigerians that are complaining are currently in pre-existing states that have governors, that have members of the House of Assembly, that have senators. I mean, by that simple logic, a new state doesn't necessarily going to satisfy the ordinary welfare desire, because everyone who's complaining today is a resident in one state or the other.
The desire is natural, and you cannot take it away from the people. You will not say that because the current states are not doing well. Well, remember that we were once just regions, 4 regions. We were not complaining then. We were complaining. We moved to 36 and all that. We are still complaining. So the fact is not because you are circumscribed in one environment and then you are afraid to move because there may be no progress. We shouldn't fear the future. I believe that with all that we have, if we can have self-determination concerning our state, it will be better. We moved from the Midwest to Bender to where we have now. There's constant desire, and you can't fault the people.
Let us take a short break, and then we'll return to more on this conversation. Stay with us, everyone. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. My guest is His Royal Majesty Charles Chukwuemeka Anyase III, the Obi of Idumuje-Unor. Your Majesty, thank you for staying the course on the program. So, Anioma is currently constituted, has Ika, Ndokwa, Osimile, Aniocha, and the rest. Are you saying that these communities, this local governments, are being disenfranchised in any form? Are you saying that the Delta State government doesn't reach out to them as enough? The resources of the state is not trickling, or the resources is not trickling down enough to these communities? What is the current state of things with people who live there, the infrastructure that currently exists?
You ask me, the government is doing their best within the given resources. But then, as much as you have, you need to keep desiring for more. The Delta State governor is one of the best governors we've had. The people under him are also taking a cue from him. Nobody can accuse the governor of not doing his best. He's doing his utmost to ensure that things trickle down. But then, like I said, desire is inexhaustive.
But are you being neglected particularly? Do you feel any form of neglect as Delta State is currently constituted?
That neglect is not because of the current government. It's been like Anioma has been a cannon fodder down the years. So if I say we're neglected, I'm not looking at the current government. It's a cumulative effect that over the years we've been not just abandoned. But I won't be targeting the current government because they're doing their best. But doing the best does not foreclose the fact that you cannot aspire for a closer self-identity.
But what's your assessment of the cost of establishing a new state? Because you will be setting up civil service, infrastructure, state assemblies. And please don't tell me oil and gas, because that's often cited as revenue sources.
We've always had those costs to
How
contend with.
stable are those kind of revenues?
We've always had those costs to contend with. We will be stable. I don't think we should be looking at the future with fear. When we get there, we begin to determine how to go. We don't cross the river until you get there.
Sounds like when you get to the bridge, you will cross it. but I've seen some of your writings, and you have traced migration of Anioma people from Igbo heartland. For viewers who may not be deeply familiar, perhaps in a minute you want to talk about the identity, the origin, and how this plays into the statehood issue.
Actually, that book that I wrote was inspired in 2007 by the clamor, talking about who we are, where we're going to, our essence and all that. Talking about the makeup of the people, there's this migration story. A number of people migrated from Benin, a large number migrated from Benin. And those who migrated, in my book, I call it an inverse migration, because there are people who moved from the east and went to the Oba's palace in Benin and spread out. And then at some point, there was some discord. And for them to move away, they had to retrace themselves back from where they came. That's what I call it, inverse migration. For instance, my own setting. My own kingdom was founded by two people. One came from the eastern frontiers, and then my own grandfather came from the East Inri. So they combined to form it. Now, within our own setting too, Idumuje is a place. My kingdom is Idumuje. Just close to us, you have the Olokumis. They came from Owo in the west. And then those people have dual language as we speak today, or say dual dialect, because it's one is a byproduct of Igbo, the other one a byproduct of Yoruba. They are the Olokumis. Olokumis speaks to friendship. Those people, if they say they are not Igbos originally, you can say yes. They came all the way from Owo. We have those who say they came from Egala, like the Ogwashuku people, and some people in other places. Some came from the east. Some came from Edo, as I said. My take is that I will not contend with anybody who says it comes from any particular place. Everybody has a right to claim to ancestry. What I said at the beginning is that, statutorily speaking, we are referred to as Igbos because of the environment we occupy and because of the contiguity with Igbo. The macro Igbo controls the language.
So which Igbo heartland community are you referring to here?
There are two Igbo species now. You have the macro in the east and then the micro in the west. Okay. The ones in the west, most of them, Inuan and all that, are the ones we're talking about here now, that are the original people referred to as Anioma. And so some who came from different places converged together. But then if the question is, who are you? I'll say I'm an Igbo. Why? Because if you put a form before me this minute, and I'll have to input my biodata, when it gets to the field where I put my tribe, I cannot say I'm Anioma. I will say I'm Igbo. So if I want to be defined as an Anioma in my tribe, we need to go through the hog, go through a plebiscite, change dynamics, change the statutory books so that you can effectively say you are not Igbo, you are
It looks like all of us are immigrants after all. If we go back to our history, we probably will be claiming as much as 107 states in Nigeria. Do you think we can afford that?
Yeah.
Because some will say that, well, we have found ourselves where we are right now. Can't we just move on and then be Deltans?
Yeah, brother. It is said that the first priority for a man is himself. If you say, well, we have enough, let's settle, not for us, because we've been destined for a long time. We've been abandoned for a long time. We have come a long way, and it is time for us to possess that which belongs to us. So
as a traditional ruler, how do you see your role evolve if a Anioma state is created? What changes in local governance, traditional institution, powers, or what have you, should people expect?
A bill is currently at the National Assembly to redefine the role of royal fathers. If that is true, what am I talking about? We'll have bigger roles to play. Even as it is now, we have bigger roles. We are contemplating for something much greater. Let the bill sail through and give the royal fathers their pride of place so that we can control it. As it is now, all over Nigeria, it's not just Anioma. No traditional like controls its people as is required because we don't have what it takes. But if they pass that bill at National Assembly, the smallest traditional ruler will be able to hold his people. You will be the chief security officer of the people in the reality, not in personal,
Earlier on, you spoke about the role that people like Senator Ned Nwoko has played in all of this. Many consider him the political champion. But the challenge that comes with that is the political intonation, the political underlining of creating a new state. Do you see that as a major challenge moving on? Because after all, not everyone is APC and not everyone believes in its political leanings.
He has not said that Anioma is being pursued on the platform of APC. There's a political underlining in every move that is human. And so that should not deter us. The point is, if we've gone this hog from 1954 down to this very period, and it's like we're about to get it. It's like, a woman who a thief goes into the kitchen, grabs a basket, and then you are asking about the content. You pursue and take first before we begin to talk about the content. That's my perspective. I'm not bothered about politics and all that, because in every dimension, in everything that you do, everything human, there is a political angle.
We're all political animals.
We are.
Even traditional leaders, right?
Yes. People say you should be apolitical. No, I am not apolitical.
So you're a member of the APC?
No. I am not apolitical. I'm a
which
political
party do you
No, listen, you see. The right definition is that I am a political animal, but I'm not partisan.
Oh, okay.
Like, people get it right when they
you
say
are political?
I'm political.
All right, beautiful.
I won't fight shout that.
His Royal Majesty Charles Chukwuemeka Anyasi III, the Obi of Idumuje-Unor. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Appreciate it.
And hopefully we'll continue this conversation subsequently.
Thank you.
That's our show today, everyone. Remember, you can watch it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again at the top of the hour.